Hello everyone, great to have you on the channel here. MeteoMark weather. We're going to be looking at the tropics here. Most importantly, Tropical Storm Ernesto that has formed. It's going to be impacting the Northeast Caribbean islands. Will it actually become a hurricane near Puerto Rico, or will it wait a little bit until it gets on the other side? Bermuda, you could be in the crosshairs of a potentially major hurricane. And could we still have parts of the East Coast or Southeast Canada on the table here as we progress towards the next 7 to 10 days? We'll get into all that and all the details for your tropics and all your weather. Let's get into it. All right, so our infrared satellite picture here of Ernesto. Yeah, you can see a lot of shower and thunderstorm activity, especially right around the center here. It is moving at a very fast clip here, though. So it's going to be in the northern Lesser Antilles, Leeward Islands here in no time. So we're going to be watching for a very stormy night here across many of these areas. Guadeloupe all the way to Antigua and Barbuda here and St. Martin. All these Virgin Islands will get in on the act of it tomorrow and tomorrow night. So starting with the European model, and then we'll progress towards the GFS and our hurricane models. As we take the next 24 to 36 hours, you can see during the day on Tuesday, this thing coming through the northern Lesser Antilles here as a tropical storm. So it'll be strengthening. It'll be a slow strengthening, though. You can see we're going to be looking at Ernesto strengthening 45 mile an hour, 50 mile an hour. So yeah, by the time it reaches Puerto Rico over here, and this is closer to Wednesday. This is actually Wednesday at 2 a.m. So this system's going to be impacting the whole island chain here of the Northeast Caribbean islands through the Virgin Islands as well. There's all these areas. Be prepared for tropical storm conditions, gusts up to 60, 70, 75 miles an hour in some of these areas. Now you can see here on the 14th, gets on the other side of Bermuda, or not Bermuda. Here's Bermuda up here, Puerto Rico. So essentially this system is a very large circulation. So here is our trough up here to the north. Our big old Bermuda high is retreating here towards the Azores. So this is on its way out. That's allowing the system to bend and round the southwestern periphery of this ridge. So as this system intensifies, it will start to veer more northeast here. And our National Hurricane Center bringing this right up towards Bermuda. I would not be surprised if this strengthens to a Category 3. So the good news is it looks like it's going to strengthen into a hurricane well on the other side of Puerto Rico here. Still, lots of impacts. You could be looking at 4 to as much as 8 inches of rain in some areas here in Puerto Rico. You see the European model is on the eastern envelope here. It does start to spin it back towards the northwest as we head on to the 18th here. There is our trough of low pressure just off the U.S. East Coast here. And then as we progress in time, it is the most progressive model here and taking this system out to sea at this point, missing all of the East Coast as well as Southeast Canada. This would be great news, but I'm going to show you the GFS and the hurricane models, and we'll see what happens here. The rest of the tropics for your European model, there is another big area, low pressure. We're going to have to be watching the Cape Verde Islands out here towards the 17th, the 18th, 19th, and 20th. So things are really going to start ramping up. You can see activity increasing here. Also across the eastern Gulf of Mexico, the northwestern and western Caribbean. So watch out as we head towards, say, the 20th. Let's head back towards the 18th here, 19th, 20th. We have a wave coming through Jamaica, the Cayman Islands next week. That moves towards the northwest. And lots of tropical moisture will be being felt across parts of Florida as well. And before we continue, I have a few things just to say. If you love this video, smash that like button. It really does help. I greatly appreciate it. Question or comment down below. I'd love to read your questions or comments. Keeps our weather community active. And if you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button, bell notification. You're alerted when I come out with every one of these weather updates. Let's get back into it. All right, so our GFS model, here we go. So yeah, you can see the intensity of this system as it continues to chug through the northern Lesser Antilles here. Here's Guadeloupe, all these areas, Virgin Islands up here, Puerto Rico. Yeah, we're going to be looking at this. This is 5 a.m. on Tuesday morning. So this starts to progress towards the west-northwest. GFS continues to be on the left, the western end of the envelope here. And then as we get towards 11 p.m. on, this is Tuesday evening. This is approaching the British Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico. You can see lots of moisture. GFS is actually intensifying this and making landfall right onto Puerto Rico here as a very strong tropical storm. So we'll have to monitor these trends. This is a little bit troubling. This would be tremendous rain here for Puerto Rico. The only good news is it does, start to accelerate a little bit here before it starts to slow down. But look what happens here with the GFS. Here we go on the western end of the envelope here. It does start to wobble all over as it's being around the periphery of the southwestern part of this high pressure system. So we got this trough hanging back up here. It's all about timing of this trough and this high pressure system. So there is that area of low pressure as well. So we have this trough, high pressure. Watch these come together here on the GFS. This is why I'm a little bit troubled here. Still a lot of time to watch this, but there it is. This becomes a massive buzzsaw here on the GFS model, and you can see it pinwheeling up towards this second trough. So if this trough were to be even slower, say it were back here or back here, this may allow Ernesto to actually deflect even more towards either New England and Southeast Canada. Watch this model. This is quite a cyclone here. Here we go. This would be right around the 19th. If you look out, the 19th, yes, it's a ways out, but it's actually a week. So we're in the 7-day window here. So this would spread tremendous rain and wind here across Nova Scotia, parts of southeastern and southern New Brunswick here. And look how fast it's moving. So there's going to be tremendous wind if this were to hold true. This would be a landfalling extratropical hurricane here across Nova Scotia and then eventually Newfoundland as well. So please stay tuned. You're not out of the woods completely here, especially beyond this scope of this cone of uncertainty. And if we look at the rest of the tropics, that intertropical convergence zone looking very robust here south of the Cape Verde Islands. We're going to continue to watch it here as we progress later into August. All right, so if we take a look at our HWRF model, the hurricane model, here it is. It's actually on a little bit wobbling on the southern end of the envelope as we head through 5 a.m. on Tuesday morning. So here's Guadeloupe here, Antigua up here, Barbuda, and all the way westward towards the Virgin Islands, British Virgin Islands, and there's Puerto Rico to the northwest. So as we continue to go out here in time, there it is. It gets right on track here with our HWRF moving through the northern and Lesser Antilles. It'll be out of your area for the most part. At least the center will. You're still going to get all these feeder bands on the eastern end as we head through 5 p.m. on Tuesday evening. But there it's approaching the Virgin Islands by 11 p.m. Tuesday night. And there it is just to the east of Puerto Rico by this point. So it's between Puerto Rico and the British Virgin Islands. So there we go. That's pretty interesting. The HWRF strengthening this to a 988 millibar low. Is it possible that maybe this could become a hurricane sooner, a Category 1? It's possible. We'll have to keep an eye on those trends because once it gets away from the easterly shear over here, it will allow this to strengthen much more rapidly. And as you can see, as it gets on the other side of Puerto Rico, it does start to strengthen. Now, how about the Dominican Republic? Yeah, you're going to get some outer bands here. The good news is it doesn't look like you're going to sustain any major hit here. So that is some really good news. Also, the Turks and Caicos, it looks like at this point, you're going to be off the hook. So we'll continue to watch it here. This buzzsaws towards the northwest and then eventually turning around the periphery of that trough that it's getting picked up. Look at that, 942 millibars. We'll have to see how strong this thing gets, but Bermuda, yeah, this would be devastating for Bermuda. Look at this, 948 millibar low. Here's Bermuda on the eastern end of that, and that's about as far as we can go out with our HWRF model. So here we go. Tropical Storm Ernesto model here. Look at this. So thanks to Tropical Tidbits. Yeah, this definitely going up by a hurricane. It's going to be debatable whether it becomes a hurricane around Puerto Rico, likely on the other side of Puerto Rico as it's starting to veer north in a couple days here. So we're going to watch out for this. This is likely becoming a major hurricane, but by that point, it'll be on its way out further into the western Atlantic, and we'll have to watch for implications around Bermuda as well. So you want to take a look at precipitation and moisture here. Less moisture really moistening up here across the Eastern Caribbean. Look at this, thanks to Tropical Tidbits. There's that dust, mid layers, a lot of dry air. But yeah, this system's going to be starting to really strengthen once it gets through Puerto Rico here as we get later Wednesday, more into Thursday though. There it starts to make the turn. You see this big dry air pool off the southeast coast. That is going to help push the storm initially to the east. Now, as we get beyond this point of the 17th and the 18th, look at that. It's running right over Bermuda here as a 961 millibar hurricane. That's going to be a devastating hit. Now, the latest GFS is bringing this a little bit further to the west again. It's slowing down this frontal boundary off the east coast. This is why I caution you that many of you are saying this is a total fish storm, but please stay tuned. This model takes it a little bit closer. And in fact, for our friends up here in Nova Scotia and New Brunswick and Newfoundland here, please stay tuned as well. Look at this. This shows a landfalling hurricane here, or extratropical hurricane, whatever you want to call it, right here Monday, August 19th. So we're starting to bend this back towards the west. So please use caution when we're talking this far out. As we take a look at the European model here, you can see, yeah, there is no shortage of moisture here with Tropical Storm Ernesto becoming a hurricane by Thursday and Friday here, rounding the bend towards Bermuda. You can see the European is much more progressive here. This system coming between two very dry areas in the upper and mid layers here. But there's the trough along the east coast helping to keep this system. And also you can see this trough up here. Let's get that out of the way to the northeast. This is what's helping propel this towards the northeast, and this secondary trough here just reinforcing, kicking this system out and safely away from southeast Canada. So we'll keep a watch on both of these models as well as our hurricane model, but still watching this area. So for the Caribbean here, what's going on? There's actually not a whole lot going on here. Central America, you're getting your typical monsoon style rains here. Jamaica, the Cayman Islands, you'll see a few showers over the next couple days. The big show is going to be over here Dominican Republic on eastward, especially Puerto Rico. We'll get into that momentarily. But yeah, you could pick up upwards of 16 to 35 millimeters here. Nothing more than about a quarter inch here in Jamaica and the Cayman Islands. We head into next week, it wettens up a little bit. Here's the northern Bahamas picking up, close to 50, 60 millimeters here. But there it is across Central America. Some of those yellow and orange zones eclipsing 100 millimeters here, upwards of 3.5, 4 inches. So as we go into the Eastern Caribbean, this is where the lion show is here. Look at this. This is the big show. So the next couple of days, as we get into Tuesday, Monday night, Tuesday, Wednesday, look at this. This is where the heaviest rain is going to be. Let's get that out of the way. That's where the heaviest rain is going to be falling here, 100, 150 millimeters in some of these orangish red zones. Would not be surprised if maybe this is a little bit closer to the eastern part, southeastern part of Puerto Rico here, picking up, 3, 4, 5, maybe as much as locally higher amounts up to 8 inches here. But we're going to be these red areas, 60 to 100 millimeters, locally higher as well, 3, anywhere from about 2.5, 3, 4, 5 inches. But like I says, locally higher amounts to 8 inches possible. All right, so the Western Pacific, we have a whole lot going on out here. Wow. So we have a couple tropical storms, Tropical Storm Ampil here, as well as Tropical Storm Scranton here. So we got a couple storms here. Could these become typhoons? Yes, it's actually possible. This one is actually Tropical Storm Ampil here. Actually could become very close to Japan. That's the one we're going to focus on here as we go out here in time towards the 14th, the 15th, into the 16th. Here's the 11 p.m. on the 15th. Here's Tokyo. So this is likely to strengthen to a typhoon. I'll show you this on the GFS momentarily, but look at this. This is going to be a very strong typhoon. It's going to become dangerously close here over the next... Here we go. This is the 15th. This is only 3 days away. So if you're in these far eastern prefectures here, especially east of Tokyo, please heed those watches and warnings. This is going to come dangerously close to you. And look at this. It's still going to be 105 gusts to 125 here. So this thing's going to be peaking here very strong before it deflects to the east. You see this frontal boundary just kind of, there it is, deflecting it towards the northeast, which is great news, but it's going to be really close here. So please, here across the Philippines, just a lot of tropical rains. We could have a system trying to form around the 18th towards Taiwan here, so please stay tuned for that. It doesn't look like it's going to develop very strong, but we could have a tropical storm developing here as well. So here's our GFS model for tropical storm becoming typhoon here, Ampil. So essentially, here it is. You can really see it on the GFS. Let's do a 3D. Look at that. That looks really ominous. Classic donut shaped here. Let's put this into motion. GFS. This is why I showed you this, because this would be devastating. This is a very, very populated area here. Tokyo, southeastern areas, Chiba. Please, Yokohama. All these areas, please stay tuned. It's going to be a rough week here. So if this does make landfall, the effects would be very devastating. We'll keep an eye on it here. We don't actually have much time to watch this, so the GFS is the most troubling. The European would be further east here. Thankfully, the European has a better record, but we still cannot discount the GFS. And Joe Drehos here from New York City this evening, August 12th. Yeah, look at that beautiful sunset over New York City. You can't get much better than that. Look at that. Nice reflections. That orange right off in the distance, and having a good time down in New York City. Nice capture there, Joe Drehos. And here we go, Joe Drehos. As the sun was going down even further, the lights were turning on here in the skyscrapers, Hudson Yards, New York City. You can't get much better than this. It looks really nice and peaceful, too. Look at that hue of lighting. As always, nice captures there, Joe. So here we go with our future radar, our NAM 3 kilometer. You can see some showers and thunderstorms that will be moving their way out of North Carolina. That's some great news, but look at, we have some mesoscale convective complexes here in eastern Kansas. We just zoom out a bit, you can see those are going to be weakening as we head throughout the night into tomorrow night. So there we go. Most of the Carolinas, it will be fizzling out here. So this is some great news. We're going to build in an area of high pressure. The most worst weather is going to be out here into the Midwest, where we could have several mesoscale convective complexes. This is the 14th at 7 a.m. So it's getting into Wednesday morning as we head throughout the day. We actually could see a few showers and stray thunder showers here in parts of the Hudson Valley, eastern Catskills up towards the Adirondacks, and then here into eastern New England as well. But look at here across the eastern part of the country. We're trying to clear it out a little bit here into North Carolina, so that's some great news, but high pressure really dominant across the eastern part of the country. We're keeping most of the bad weather out here mid to late week as we head, this is 2 a.m. on Thursday morning. You can see most of the tropical moisture is staying right off the coast here. All right, so picking up where our future radar left off with our European model, you can see as we progress in time where this precipitation band is sitting up here across the Midwest and then off the southeast coast with that stalled frontal boundary. That's just been providing you with all that tropical moisture. High pressure is building in across the eastern part of North America. I'll have your Canadian forecast here in a couple moments, so stay tuned for that later on in the video here. And look at this as we head on into Thursday into Friday. Look at this system across the Midwest chugging to the east. The good news is it's going to be losing some of its punch, but, you know, it's going to bring some beneficial rain here to parts of the eastern Great Lakes and Ohio Valley. This is towards the 16th at 5 a.m. So TGIF, you're getting some rainfall. You're getting your rain out of the way, Ohio. Eastern Michigan here before the weekend, because unfortunately this heads into the Northeast. You guessed it, for the weekend. Here's Pennsylvania, New York. Yeah, this low is going to start to slow down, unfortunately, and it's going to magnify this precipitation. Now, Cleveland, you're not completely off the hook for rain showers here and some embedded thunderstorms on Saturday, but still, the good news is most of it's going to be to the east of you as we head on to Saturday into Sunday. But you can see the pattern here. This thing is literally becoming an upper level low, and then look at our big hurricane out here. This is going to really play into where Ernesto ultimately goes. So please stay tuned. Things could greatly change. Our European model keeps us off the hook here for parts of the mid-Atlantic, northeast, up through Canada. But as I said before, we're well beyond, that margin of error there. So as we continue to go out here in time towards the 20th, this upper level low, this trough, continues to hold tough. And unfortunately, I hate to say this to you in the Northeast, but a very rainy week looks to be shaping up as we just get one system. Here's the 22nd. This is going to be diving across the Great Lakes into the Northeast. So our European run-on precipitation, what is going on here for the Carolinas? 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch over the next couple days. But you know what? It's actually looking drier as we go in time. Same for Florida, 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch the next couple days. Most of the big show is going to be up here in the Midwest and parts of the Ohio Valley, Great Lakes region. And look at that, just in time for the weekend here in the Northeast for you to get, 1.5 inches, 3 inches, some of these areas upwards of 4+ inches here into New England. And we get into next week. That just continues as well. Heavy rain. All right, Canada, how's it going up here? So for our Canadian weather forecast here, it's not looking that bad. Unfortunately, you could use some rain because, the wildfire threat's going to continue to grow every day that we stay dry here. But look at here across Alberta, Saskatchewan, you're going to pick up some beneficial rains here. That's some great news as we continue to head towards Manitoba towards the 14th. We got that system from the United States here heading towards Ontario for the 16th into the 17th. Another system out here towards Alberta and British Columbia. But watch this. Yeah, there's that upper level low for the 17th, the 18th, into the 19th. This kind of just camping out here, and this is going to really play into our Hurricane Ernesto out here, whether it does affect New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, and Newfoundland here. So please stay tuned. If you're in Southeast Canada, I'll keep you up to date here on what could be happening with these systems regardless. This upper level low just seems to cut off at this point, dragging that trough here across Quebec and magnifying that rain. And look at, we're actually getting some beneficial rains out west here. So Manitoba and Western Ontario staying the driest, it seems, here. And I'll go over those precipitation amounts momentarily. But there you go. Canada's looking a little more active as we head into the latter part here. So for our Canadian precipitation totals, it is looking really, really dry until we get to about the weekend. So you're in the same boat as the northeast part of the U.S. Southern Ontario and Quebec. We could be looking at, look at that, even into next week, all the way into New Brunswick here. We could really be looking at a total of 80 to 120 millimeters of rain. That's going to equate to about 3 to as much as 5.5 inches. Now, I caution you, Southeast Canada, please stay vigilant. Look at Ernesto out here. Yes, it shows it going out to sea, as I said, on the tropical update, but we need to watch this because this is so far out. The margin of error is like 1,500 miles, 2,000 miles here. And before we continue, don't go anywhere. I got plenty more weather for you. Take a look at these awesome maps from my affiliate.
I am proud to announce that I am now an affiliate with Trilogy Maps. TrilogyMaps.com, bringing you the most digital, customizable maps found nowhere else on the internet. These maps are simply stunning. It's an advanced layering system that makes these maps great for making forecast maps with ease or any other maps that you would like to display important information on. The resolution on these maps is simply amazing. From the detail of everything here in the States, and you can also create stunning, digital, professional layered maps from also across the entire world. And don't forget, in checkout, the discount code option, use my code, MeteoMark, hit apply, and you will get 20% off your order. So if you want the most professional, customizable, and affordable weather maps found nowhere else on the internet, look no further than TrilogyMaps.com. Link in the description down below along with your discount code.
Let's take a look at our temperatures here. So as we get into Tuesday, the heat is on across the Gulf Coast states, Southern Plains, hundreds and upper 90s, even into Florida here. But look at the upper 70s, lower 80s here across the Ohio Valley into the Northeast as we get into Wednesday. This just continues. We do see a little bit of a warming trend here, low to mid 80s, the Ohio Valley into the Northeast. This bubble of heat, is really searing Texas here. A little bit cooler here into the Pacific Northwest this week. As we get into Thursday, look at this. We do start to creep these upper 80s here into the nation's capital, Richmond, Virginia. this stripe of heat up here into parts of eastern and southern Ohio up into the upper 80s here as we get into Friday. That's going to be short-lived because look at this pool of 70s that's going to be heading east. We still have the 80s here into the northeast into Saturday. Look at this. Yeah, we're going to be looking at a lot of 70s here, but still boiling here in Texas as we head into Sunday. Not much changes here. Look at this nice reinforcing shot of upper 70s right around 80. Extended forecast from our hometown viewers, Binghamton to Scranton, Upper Susquehanna, River Valley, New York, and Pennsylvania. Look at this. Beautiful sunny skies Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, there's a chance of showers. Friday, mostly sunny. And of course, the weekend, what do you know? We get to the weekend and we got that good chance of showers and thunderstorms heading on into Saturday. And that'll stretch into Sunday as well. But you know what? The temperatures are going to be in the upper 70s, right around 80, into the low 80s as we head towards Thursday and Friday, and then cool it down towards the 70s for the weekend. But yeah, bigger rains coming for Saturday and Sunday. It's not going to be all day, but some of these could be thunderstorms. As always, thank you for joining me for this edition of MeteoMark's Weather. Also, don't forget to join me on Facebook at MeteoMark, also Weather Northeastern, also Twitter at Weather Eastern. Don't forget it's MeteoMark.com, and don't forget, if you want to send me a coffee, there is a link, Super Thanks. You can smash that Super Thanks button or my PayPal link in the description down below. You can buy me a cup of coffee. Thanks, everyone. Share that video. Subscribe if you haven't. Smash that like button.